Happy Friday, happy Friday, happy Friday. How's everybody doing? Coming up today on the social media, coming up today on the social media scene. Let's start that over. Let's just start that over. Happy Friday, happy Friday, happy Friday. Coming up today on the social media scene. Instagram, that's right, new Instagram feature called Guides and an enhanced search. I'll tell you more about that. Twitter, not to be defleeted. See what I did there? Twitter, not to be defleeted, gives us a new stories feature and possibly a new audio group chat thingy. Yeah, I'll tell you more about that too. Also, Jill Scott, one of my favorite entertainers, has a new project that's golden just for Black women. Yep, just for the sisters. Well, I mean, other people can listen too, but you'll see why I say that in just a second. So all of that and more is coming up next. Don't go anywhere. I will be right back. Welcome to a new episode of the social media scene. Before I get started, one moment, I gotta push a couple more buttons. Hold on just a second. There is a lot going on in this stream. Probably too much going on. Yes, there we go. So again, welcome to the social media scene. I am Alice Fuller, principal consultant at Sheer Social. Now, if you are new, hey, how you doing? Thank you for spending virtual time and some space with me, Alice Fuller. What do I do through Sheer Social? That is my social media marketing, training, and consulting business. Yes, I do some management of people's profiles too. That indeed would be true. Hey, Tara, how you doing? Also, now what is the social media scene? The social media scene is my weekly show where I tell you what is going on in the world of social media from week to week. And I try to add a little entertainment flavor just to keep it, interesting, a little more interesting. Okay. So that is what we're here to do today. So thank you for coming in. Now, for those of you that are new, here's what I need you to do. And for those of you watching the replay, and for those of you that come every week watching it live, I need all y'all to do me a solid. Go ahead, share this stream with friends and frenemies. Your frenemies too. Go ahead, share it in those places and spaces they are having conversations about social media. And especially in those places and spaces, there are people that need help with social media, yet they will never admit it. Don't you hate those people? Pride, man, just pride in their own way. But nonetheless, go ahead, share this stream in those places and spaces. That's your pages, that's your groups. If you know how to do it in Messenger, if you know how to do it off of Facebook, however you want to do it, I am cool with it. However, just be mindful. Try to be mindful. Not everybody is interested in social media. Try to share it in those places and spaces. Conversations about social media is going on and people need help with social media. That way they'll be more prone to watch it. That's my strategy. Okay. So if you missed the top of the show, let me give you a breakdown for today. Now, we had a lot going on in social media this week. Ooh wee. Ooh wee, ooh wee, ooh wee. Okay, so we got to talk about Instagram. Specifically, we got to talk about Instagram and the new enhanced search. Yay. And we also have to talk about this new guides feature. Technically, it's not new because it was, being tested with a, certain amount of people, but now it's available to everybody. Everybody can feel special now. Okay, so we'll talk about that. Also today, Twitter. Yes, Twitter is all a Twitter this week, all a buzz this week because of something called fleets or fleet. I guess if you do multiple, they're called fleets. If you just do one, it's a fleet. Anyway, nonetheless, basically it's a stories feature. Everybody and their mama, everybody and their cousin Seemingly every platform wants to have a stories feature. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you more about that and why. You see this mug right here? You see this is how I'm feeling about it. Yeah, I'm not feeling it. But I'll tell you why. Also today, got to tell you about a new project. Jill Scott, one of my favorite entertainers, living her life like it's golden. A new project she's doing that I'm really curious and interested to see how it's all going to pan out. That's right. So she's got a new project, social media kind of related, and specifically designed for, created for Black women. So I'm a Black woman. Some of you are Black women. Now, for those of you that do not categorize yourself as a Black woman, that does not mean you can't listen. Okay. You might learn something. You never know. So let's not go down that road, please. I mean, you can go, but you'll go by yourself. Okay. But we'll talk about that. Uh, and that's the rundown for today. So let's go ahead and get started with the first news story of today. So let me get my clapboard together. Let's see if I can do it right today. Let's see. I was still a little off, but nonetheless, that's the clapboard. That means it's time to get started. We're going to start with, might as well start with what? Instagram, since Facebook owns it. And Instagram right now is just growing by leaps and bounds. If you ask my opinion, and you sometimes do, Instagram is just doing way too much. It's just getting cluttered now. So many new things, so many new features, that, this, that, and the other. But nonetheless, they didn't ask my opinion, but that's why I have this show so I can share it. Okay, so when we start talking about this new search function, that's a yay. That's a yay. Now, with the new search function, though, usually when we do a search on Instagram, all we get primarily is the hashtags we can search through and profiles that have that particular keyword you're searching for in their profiles. Okay, cool. For a moment. But now Instagram has upped its game and it's giving us a more robust search. Now, before you get all excited, just keep in mind it's not going to share everything. But considering what we had to work with before, this is definitely an improvement, a big, big, big improvement. So, what are we getting? We are getting this particular time, you'll get keyword searches or phrases. You can do phrases too, not just one word. You'll get searches that will basically still bring up the content, people's profiles, also content with the keyword in the caption. So it's going to get real crucial when we start looking at how we craft the messaging now, especially in our captions on Instagram. It used to be we put so much focus on hashtags, and I'm not saying that you should not still have a hashtag strategy. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is now it's time to really focus on using keywords in your captions. If I was talking YouTube, I would be talking descriptions. Descriptions, captions. One for YouTube, one for Instagram. They call them captions on Instagram. So now is the time to really start using keywords that really help define what your post is about. Okay. So that's a good thing. And matter of fact, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do for Instagram, because if any feature that I'm going to talk about today is going to be one that I applaud, it is going to be this one. So you know what, Instagram, I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you this right here. Go ahead, take that. Yeah, take that. Take that. Take that. Uh-huh. Probably one of the best things. One of the best things. Okay, that's enough because you don't need any more than that. Because before you know it, you'll go around with the big head. And we don't need that because Instagram is doing the most as it is. All right, so now before you get all excited, there is a little limitation. The keyword searches, according to my research, are limited to general interest topics. that are within Instagram's community guidelines. So if you try to search for something that probably would get you in trouble anyway, if you posted it, you probably won't find it. They're not going to help you find that or try to create posts around that and help spread it. No, not at all. So not every keyword or keyword phrase will be searchable in this particular way. Okay, but you still got a lot that you can use. It's not a pure keyword search, and there are qualifiers that play into how the content is displayed. Got to keep that in mind. So let's say you are doing your post or whatever, and you want it to show up for relevant searches. So you got to include the right hashtags in order to go in those channels. That's how it was before. And now you can still do your hashtags, but now you can also, like I said before, create a list of those keywords that you want to put in your captions so that your content can better be found. So that is a good thing. So let me show you a little example of what this will look like. So I have a little test here. Let's see. Here we go. Let me show you this. One of the best features, well, not a feature, but an update for Instagram this week. The other is this new guides, that guides feature. Now this new guides feature is basically, how to put it simply, you can create a compilation, that's a good word, a compilation of content around a specific place or a project, or not a project, a place, a product, or just your own content if you want to. Now, this will be really, really great for those of you that like to give certain instruction. If you do have products that you're trying to sell, you can do how-tos to a degree. Set up your products in such a way so that people can go through and get more information about the product you're trying to sell through Instagram. So guides do have a lot of potential. I tell you that. So that is one good thing you can always rely on in this aspect of Instagram. One, if they're going to give you a new feature, this new feature at the end of the day, I think is going to give us a new way to create content, and hopefully Instagram will give it as much organic favor as they're doing Reels right now because it's new. And for those of you that are comfortable yet using Reels, or you're not using Stories, though you should be, or we all should be, gotta practice what I preach, then now you have this feature with the guides. So technically, at the end of the day, it's longer form content because you can pick as, I don't, you know what, I don't really know how many, when you create your guides, and I'll show you what it is in a minute, how many images or how much content you can put in a guide. I haven't seen in my research what the limit is, and I'm sure there's probably is a limit, but at this point you can create and curate as much content as you want. The other thing about that is too, guides can be shared in your stories. So once again, if you are a little challenged in how to create stories, now you have a way to do so that might be easier for you, especially for those of you that kind of shy away from cameras a little bit. You're just not ready to do the behind the scenes and do everything that you see everybody else doing. This might be a great way for you to utilize to basically to kill two birds with one stone. So you're using guides, and those guides can be shared in stories. So yay. All right, so all you need to do is, I'm gonna break this down for you, real easy peasy. When you get to your Instagram profile, now I know in the last couple of weeks, Instagram rearranged the furniture a little bit so that the shopping and so the reels would literally be right up under our nose, front and center. So search is someplace different. Some of the other things you're used to clicking have been uh, placed differently on the app. It might take you a second. Just play around with it till you get comfortable with it. So what you're going to do is to do guides. You're going to head to your Instagram profile, tap on the plus icon in the top left screen, top left. You're going to create a menu. From the create menu, not create a menu, from that menu, that drop down, I'll show you in just a second. You're going to select guide. And then from there, when you hit guide, it's going to say places, products, or posts. And you just choose between the three. And then you select the post that you want. And that could include little videos too. And then you're going to add a title and a subscription. And then you can change the cover image if you want. And then, like I said, you can share it in your stories. So here's a little demo of it just for those of you that want to test it out. suggest going ahead and just downloading Instagram again. And hopefully, you should have guides or the feature and the search available to you. So if you don't have it today, because I tested mine this morning and I had it, so go ahead and just download Instagram again, and and it should be available to you. Should be. So let's move on to other social media news. So that is the Instagram news for this here day. Let's move on to other stuff because there is more to talk about. Okay. So now, yes, bam. Moving on to the next thing. We're going to talk about Twitter. Man. Twitter caught hell this week. And it's not funny. It's really not funny. Because anytime you try something new and you get feedback that's probably not as positive as you would like, it kind of hurts your feelings. It kind of does in many instances. So I'm laughing, but if I were to put myself in Twitter's shoes this week, I would probably feel a little bad, just a little, just a wee bit, just a little. They're still making money, so at the end of the day, they don't feel that bad. But so Twitter, if you're watching, hey Jack, how you doing? You know, woo woo, because sometimes you look like you need a hug, and I understand it because you got a lot of pressure on your shoulders. So here's one reason why: fleet or fleets, fleets. I know somebody's going to mess up and say, you know what? I fleeted today. I can so hear it. I can so anticipate it. Please don't. Please don't say fleeted. Either you created a fleet or you published a fleet. I don't fleeted. No, fleeting is a word. Now that indeed is true. But yeah, yeah. How about you just don't say it if it's going to create controversy for you? But this week, Fleets, the stories wannabe feature, descended upon Twitter, the rest of Twitter, all of Twitter. You know, they were testing it in some foreign land as most platforms do, and now they have brought it to us here in the States. You know, I just feel like saying, why? Why? Not everything needs stories. I understand why you want to do it to a degree. Because it's popular on Instagram. They're popular on other Snapchat, which is where it all started anyway. Howsoever, everything does not need a damn stories feature. LinkedIn, just saying. It's not necessary. But nonetheless, you're going to give it to us, and it appears nothing I'm going to say is going to change the fact that we now have these damn bubbles going across the top of our little screens on the Twitter app. It's annoying because I keep thinking, am I on Instagram or am I on Twitter? And then I have to remind myself, you are indeed on Twitter. Okay. So here's what you can fleet. Okay. Fleets are basically, like I said, just like stories for the most part, but a little less exciting. You don't have as many bells and whistles yet because it's still a baby thing for the most part. But you can do a text fleet. Basically, you can put some text on a colored background with a range of color options. Where have we seen that before? You can share tweets and turn those into a fleet. So they will also appear on a colored background. And you can do, of course, video or photo and turn that into a fleet. Yes. So as you go into Twitter, for those of you that use Twitter, you're going to see the little bubbles across the top. And those are the individuals who have created a fleet. I'm trying so hard to say that they fleeted. They didn't fleeted. They created a fleet. And that fleet should disappear after 24 hours within the app. 24 hours. Basically, just like everything else. 24 hours. Your fleet will be available to the world. And what else? Like I said before, don't expect a lot of extras, kind of basic right now. So if you're thinking of, flying all the way from Instagram over to Twitter to do these fleets, you're probably going to be a little disappointed. However, Twitter is all in because they're also testing something that will give us a collaborative fleet. So people can work on a fleet collectively or together. Okay. Now, here's the thing. I keep asking why. Why are fleets even in existence on Twitter? Did a little research and I stumbled upon an article on TechCrunch. Now, TechCrunch reports that there's been a little bit of drama, little bit of drama, uh, in the camp, that runs Twitter. And one of the investors, one of the big investors, big investors, by the name of Elliott Management Group, basically was complaining that, Twitter, you ain't done jack, no pun intended, as far as innovation in a long time. I mean, if you're trying to compete with all the other social media platforms, you got to always be innovating, coming up with new stuff. And according to this one investor, Twitter wasn't doing enough, just wasn't. So, long story short, we got Fleet or Fleets because everybody wants stories, right? No, we don't. Not on this platform, we don't. We like Twitter somewhat the way it was. And not to mention, it's not like we haven't been asking for that damn edit button forever and a day. But instead of giving us the edit, you give us a fleet, which to me is just something you use to clean your bowels. But that's just me. I said it. Yeah, or some people see fleet as mosquito repellent. Why would you name it fleet? Why? I don't. Okay. All right. So I don't get that either. But I suspect with the pressure from the investor being what it was, they needed to do something because the investor, everybody else is doing stories. We need to be doing something similar to stories. Bam, we get fleets. So that's it. So, but that's not all. We're also potentially getting, and I say potential because this is just a test mode, something that will allow us to have a group audio chat. hmm If you've ever heard of an app that's called what do they call it? Clubhouse. Clubhouse. Basically, it is an app that allows a bunch of people to get together in what they call a space or something of that nature. And within that space, uh, somebody is the host, and people can basically group chat, kind of like a conference call, kind of, sort of, maybe something like that. But you don't share video, you only share audio. Okay. So Twitter is testing this new Clubhouse like feature. And unlike certain tests they've done before, the Maya Gold Patterson, great name. She's a staff product designer. She says, we're going to do this a little different and testing this one. We're going to launch this first experiment of spaces to a very small group of people, a group of people who are disproportionately impacted by abuse and harm on the platform, women and those from marginalized backgrounds. Well, that sounds like somebody who might look like me. A little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. So, uh, um, I don't know how marginalized my background is, though, but nonetheless, at the end of the day, they're not going to use their usual way of testing this particular feature. And I'm trying to figure out what are they going to call. They're not calling it Clubhouse. I don't think they have a name for it yet. Maybe they do. Let me look right quick. Do they have a name for this new group audio chat thing? Not yet. At least not in my research yet. So, at any rate, those are two things that Twitter is focusing on right now. Fleets are already here. The group audio chat thingamajiggy, they're testing that to a really, really small group of people. But here's what I find interesting. So, when we start talking about, when you get a new feature and, people, users want to have their say so. And boy, have people been talking. And I mean talking. So let me show you this when it comes to fleets. Let me share my screen here. Here we go. So here's my screen. Let me bring this up. So let me back this up. Here you go. So meet fleets. Here's what you can do. Write some text. Okay. Share a tweet. This just looks like something from Facebook, if I'm honest. Record a video. Okay, cool. Or post a photo. Okay, fine. They're live for 24 hours. Yippee. Okay. Flop. You know what? I'm mad at y'all put the word flop in there. That might. Okay, yeah. Okay, so when you look at the feedback Twitter got about this, but we see you fleeting. Okay, that's kind of funny. Um, and like the pediatric nurse was thinking the same way I was. I was. I think a fleet is an enema. Yeah, yeah. Uh, let's see. What's some other feedback? This okay. So I don't even know what that is. So of course, I've decided to not find out what fleets are, and I feel good about it. Okay. Uh, it's funny because all of your first fleets are like, this is dumb, and then the next three are thirst traps. Okay. And y'all thought fleets was the worst thing to happen to Twitter today. Okay. Y'all, fleets are going to make link in bio a thing on Twitter, aren't they? Please tell me I'm wrong. Well, don't know about that. Summer says the fleet thing is making my phone too slow. It's like they think I'm posting from the world's fastest supercomputer over here. Just about had enough of this. Okay. A lot of people are making a joke of it. Got Kyla here that says fleets are stupid because all I'll post are stupid tweets. Okay, that's on you. Uh, it's the second day and I've already stopped clicking on people's fleets. Fleets are entirely self-serving for now. Was it not just yesterday I heard who asked for this? Or fleets are dumb. Not everyone casually just accepted it. Not everyone. My name is not everyone. Uh, okay. So then you've got this. Okay, wait a minute. There's another one I want to show you. Hold on. Let me go back to my camera. Now, of course, with Twitter, I checked in with what is also known as Black Twitter to see what the sentiment was about the new fleet. Yeah, yeah, it's not pretty. Not pretty at all. But nonetheless, here's the thing. People, just like with everything that's new, it's going to be new and shiny for a lot of people for a while. And then it's not. And at this point, I hope Twitter will look at this feedback it is getting and really consider whether this is the direction they really want to go. So here's another one. This person says, Leo says, if I see anybody Twitter story like this, you getting blocked and reported. That looks like Instagram, doesn't it? Yeah, Instagram stories. Um, and then we got the replies. Okay, just funny. Just funny. Uh, let's see, what is it? Was there something else I wanted to show you? Hold on. Let me go down. Let me look at all 526 replies here. Okay. Uh I'm not posting any stories on Twitter, but let's not act like you don't enjoy my stories. Okay, funny. Karina says, I'm looking at you. Yeah, yeah. Uh, let's see what else is up here. Don't even bother, bruh, because you ain't going to be disappointed. I've had enough of this stuff. I've had enough of that, you know what, on Instagram. They better not do it on Twitter. Well, it's here already, so there it is. Uh, there are Twitter stories. What the? Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Then we've got right because this ain't Instagram. Yep, it's not Instagram, but nonetheless, seemingly everybody wants to be like Instagram. Finally, those 37 tweet threads about how Boston cream donuts are secretly racist or whatever can be shuffled off my timeline straight to a feature I'm going to look at. Okay, so I'm just hoping Twitter. Now, there might be some people who are thoroughly enjoying their fleet or fleets, but there's a great number of people who are not. So let's move on to the next story. The next story is Jill Scott. Got to talk about Miss Jill. Now, for those of you that love Jill Scott, if you don't know who Jill Scott is, just Google it because I am not going to spend quality time explaining to you how wonderful this entertainer is. Yes, I'm biased because I'm a fan. Yes, we've met. She cool people, real cool. On stage, off stage, real cool people. So, but this new endeavor she's doing, like a lot of entertainers right now, they're looking for new ways to, still have something creative going on because they're not going out to do concerts and things of that nature. And she's an actress too, and production is just getting back to some semblance of normalcy in the entertainment game. So she's decided to launch what? A podcast. Now, I know last week I said someone else had launched a podcast. People, podcasts are hot right now. Celebrities and non are going to have podcasts. It is what it is. I know you're saying, oh, Lord, here we go. Hey, Darlene. Yep, Tara says, living my life. Living my life like it's golden. Yes, that Jill Scott. That one. So, Jill's new podcast is in partnership with iHeart Media, which is cool. I think, hey, at this point, like I said before, you're going to see more and more artists, celebrities, creators, whatever you want to call them, finding some way to still have a creative outlet since they can't do what they are normally known for doing. So she's going to have an intimate talk show podcast. They call it a no holds barred conversation on topics around relationships, culture, health, art, and everything else that comes with surviving and thriving as a Black woman in today's world. Okay, so it's called the J.LL, J ill. Now, for you hip hop heads, you get that. You get ill is something good. For you old schoolers, for you new schoolers, you probably won't get it. But nonetheless, so the J.LL J ill podcast, uh, unfiltered conversations by and for Black women who influence culture and uplift sisterhood, says Jill Scott. That's the point. She says it's been a challenging year for the community, meaning the Black community, and our hope is that this show will continue to keep our Love Village connected. If you don't know, she calls her fan base her Love Village. Keep the Love Village connected, entertained, and empowered. These are valuable discussions about how we're feeling, what's happening in the world today. So if you want to listen to Jill's new podcast, it is exclusively with iHeart. So you're going to have to go to iHeart.com, download the iHeart app, and then search for Jill Scott Presents J.LL, the podcast. That's where you find it. So if you go into Apple, you ain't gonna find it there. If you go into Spotify, it's not there. You have to, as of right now, you have to hit up iHeart Media. Go ahead and download that. Now, let me show you Jill's little promo because I think this is the funniest thing, but this is so her though. This is so Jill. Okay, so I'm over here on her Twitter profile, and let me cue this up. Okay, share the browser. There we go. Let me turn up my sound here so y'all can hear it. And there you go.
Like I need permission to feel beat.
Okay, so I give you permission. I give you permission to take the weekend, take as many baths or as many showers as you want, and not answer the phone unless you want, and sleep, and maybe masturbate once or twice if you feel like it.
What? Twice?
Oh, I mean, I'm just saying.
That is so Jill. Okay, so that's the Jill.
I feel like I need permission to feel beat.
Okay, so I give you permission. I give you permission to take the weekend, take as many baths or as many showers as you want.
Ooh, the water bill going.
And not answer the phone unless you want, and sleep, and maybe masturbate once or twice if you feel like it.
What? Twice?
Oh, I mean, I'm just saying.
Okay, so she says, let's talk about the living darlings. Listen to our first episode. Where would we go? On the iHeartRadio app. Oh, well, it's on Apple Podcasts too, or wherever you get your podcast. I read that it was exclusive, but evidently they figured out that might not be the way to go. So it's iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcast from. Find out what we're really talking about, and if you want to follow them on Twitter, here it is. Here's that. So they're talking. Now, this launched just this week. I think it launched on the 18th. The 18th. So the first episode should already be up. So it appears here she invited her sister friends from Kindred, if y'all know that group, husband and wife duo. And I don't know how to say that name, Somebody's World. And let us know what conversations you're having in our communities right now. Love, Miss Jill Scott. So I am curious because if you are familiar with Jill Scott's music, with her poetry, with her artistry, then you know this is going to be some good conversations going on. Okay. So that's a wrap, people, for me. That's a wrap. And yep, there you go. That's a wrap. That's it. So I want everyone to have a blessed weekend. By the time I see you next week, well, I haven't decided yet if I'm doing a post-Thanksgiving show yet. I might. I don't know. Depends on how I feel. But as of right now, I am planning to broadcast next Friday, literally right after Thanksgiving. So I know a lot of you are probably deciding, what you're going to do for Thanksgiving. All I ask is please, please, please be careful, be mindful of the situation that we are currently in with the pandemic. I'm not saying not have your family over and your closest of friends. I am saying please be careful out here in these streets. That's what I'm saying. Yes, Tara, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. Yes, thank you. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody. So yes, despite it all, there is still much to be thankful for. Keep that in mind too. All right. So that's it for this week. Hopefully I'll see y'all maybe next week. If you have a question, comment, you can still hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on YouTube, hit me up on Facebook. If there is a particular topic you want me to cover regarding social media, this is not Iyanla or Alice Fix Your Life. So keep it to social media, please. Thank you. And I will get to it as soon as possible, or I'll just incorporate it into what I talk about for the next show. And yes, I am looking for a co-host. A co-host, someone that can talk and walk social media, and you don't mind being on camera, and you don't mind working with me, more importantly. So if you know somebody that would be a great co-host, let me know. Just put it in the DMs with some contact information, and I definitely will reach out to them. Okay. All right. So that's it, everybody. Have a great weekend. I will see you maybe next week. If not, I'll let you know. Bye-bye.